What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. Instant match reaction between Spurs and Southampton. Spurs beat Southampton 3-1 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm here with Marlon from Spurs Kings TV to give our reaction to the game. 2 goals from Brennan Johnson and a stoppage time penalty giving Tottenham all 3 points. But I don't think that tells the full story, does it, Marlon? With what was another laboured performance. I mean, if it was a game where I was looking to get the confidence back within the team and the fans, and a performance I really said, all right, Frankfurt on Thursday, we were going to be ready for it. Wasn't that, was it?
Well, the first 45 minutes weren't that bad, but the second 45 minutes, looking at it now, you're just going, oh my God, you can't just step off like that at all. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best at all. I just kind of looked at it and went, they just didn't get going in that second half, did they? You just never, ever got started. And I just can't put my finger on it. Was it personnel? Did Ange tell him something at half time? Did they all just go, you know what, Thursday's more important? Do you know what? I'm still sitting there trying to rack my brains around it to see what just happened.
And to put it into context, obviously Southampton got relegated after this game. This is the earliest that anyone has ever been relegated from the top flight. So that's the kind of level of team we were playing today. And that second half, I mean, look, Southampton was that bad. They didn't really do much in the game, no doubt about it. And it wasn't as if like they had chance after chance, but the how we allowed them to get back in the game, how we just allowed them all the encouragement in the world, and it wasn't a surprise when they got a goal late in the game and put a bit of pressure on Tottenham. And it looked like, you know, for those last few minutes they were making things really, really hard for Tottenham, and it would look like they could have got an equaliser, albeit they didn't really have any chance to equalise, but it looked as though they could have got back in the game in those last few minutes. And Tottenham, I think that there was one point in the game in the second half. The stats showed, I think, on 70 minutes, we had 1 touch in the Southampton penalty area in that second half. And that tells a story. We just sat back, soaked up pressure, and just allowed Southampton all the encouragement. The substitutions were strange. We didn't see Tell till very late on. Obviously, he came on and scored a penalty. Solanke was on for a long time. Obviously, Son went off quite early, but you know, we did make a couple of double change on 56,
which were the right ones at the time.
Bring on Graham Basuma on 80 to try and like see out the game. The way we looked like we were just wasting time near the end. We acted like we were playing like a top team or something. The way we were trying to get through the game in that second half. Maybe we just took our foot off the gas with one eye on Thursday, but it nearly cost us in this game. And that second half was really, really poor. Couldn't hang on to the ball. Solanke wasn't able to kind of keep the ball when the ball was played directly to him. The fullbacks weren't getting forward. We were just kind of hanging around our own box trying to see out a 2-0 victory when we're playing a team where if you really just take the game to them, we could have easily won that game 3 or 4-0.
No, and I think you hit the nail on the head there with the whole... I think Solanke was probably key to why that second half was so poor. He was getting pushed off the ball every time it weren't sticking, he wasn't holding it up, and sometimes it just needed that calmness up top just to keep it for 1 or 2 seconds. He didn't have to move it on. I think it was like a couple of times where he did try it, where he turned to the right and he kept holding the ball, but then his final pass was poor. And look, I'm a Solanke fan, but today will be one that he will look back on and go, no, I was poor today. And it was against a team that's going to be playing in the Championship next season and deservedly going to be playing in the Championship next season, because actually, when you look at the second half, a better team probably takes us to the sword and literally will be putting us under more pressure than they did. Because we defended quite well, considering we did defend quite well. But it just got to the point where when Southampton scored, you were kind of like...
Didn't defend well for the goal, though,
no,
did we?
And that's the thing. And it was a typical how we've conceded goals this season. Over the top, far corner, 2 or 3 players are hanging on the other side, and we concede. And that's just not good enough.
Yeah.
Unmarked in the box. And you've got... What frustrates me is, in those situations, when you've got Odegaard and Brennan Johnson on the other side, just looking at it all and not thinking, okay, should I go back there? Should I be telling someone? Let me communicate. And it's just getting beyond the joke. And the thing is now is we're going to be coming up against better teams in the Europa League. So I really, really hope they think they can't just switch it on and off. Certain games.
Also a bit frustrating is the fact that he obviously played a very strong team in this game.
Yeah.
Didn't rest players.
Glad he did now.
And well, yeah, I guess glad we did, because we needed a really strong team to win the game. But a part of me also would have liked to have kept a lot of these players completely fresh for Thursday. I understand maybe some players did need the minutes in the game, like because they've missed a lot of football over the last kind of few months. But and also they need to kind of start playing together to get kind of re-establish those relationships on the pitch.
And that's
been absent for a long, long time.
In the first half, though, if we look at some of the patterns of play in that first half, we saw some of the old style, what we call old Ange ball, ball across the box, wingers, fullback, overlapping and whatnot. So you did see it. So it's them also getting used to each other, because you got to look at it. Son and Spence have created a relationship over the last month or so where he's actually been playing. Brennan Johnson and Porro probably haven't had the amount of games together over the last few months because of injuries and whatnot. So it's, you got to look at it as a whole, and that midfield is just getting used to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the first half was one of them where you went, okay, it wasn't the best, but it was enough for us to go, he picked the right team. Mm-hmm. And you could sit there and go, maybe.
We deserve to be, a couple of goals up, probably.
We deserve to be a couple of goals up, probably 3. The offside goal was just unfortunate as well.
Offside, and Spence had that chance right at the end. Romero had a few headers.
So we had chances.
Stuff,
but
it wasn't like scintillating. No, it was just kind of like a performance where. It's one of those performances where, like, the week before a big European game, you kind of expect to get this level of position. But the fact that we're currently not in good form and a lot of question marks around the manager, you just want to see more in this kind of game to say we're ready for a big European tie, because we just haven't seen enough of that in recent months to suggest that we're going to get to the level we need to on Thursday. So you wanted to see that today, and we just didn't, did we?
No, and that's the thing. And you're really hoping now that when Thursday comes around, and I think for all of our sakes, is that we're going to see a performance, because we've been saying, the Europa League is the biggest game. It's the biggest game. The last Europa League game, they were very disappointing. And you're really, really hoping now that, I don't know whether it's Ange or whether it's the players. Do you know what?
I'm hoping they were holding something back for Thursday. That's what I'm hoping.
I'm really hoping that was the players in that second half and not something that Ange just said to them, got in the change room and just completely taken the sting out of the game. But then
I disagree. I hope it was Ange who said it, because if it was just the players, then it kind of means like either they're tired or they've taken it upon themselves. If it was Ange saying, let's calm it down the second half. I'm not saying it was the right approach, but at least like there's a reason I can see why that happened.
But his subs then proved that it might have been him. I think that's what
I'm looking at.
And they all did the same. So I really hope that was the message, but it was probably the wrong message. But he's got the 3 points. He can now put everything into Thursday. And actually now when they play Wolves next Sunday, there's not that hanging over their head that actually Wolves might overtake us.
The win takes us into 13th at the moment. So
it gives us a breathing space for at least going into next week as well for the league. Yeah,
it's still obviously quite tight where we are. We're 5 points. We're closer to Wolves than we are to. We're just as close to 17th as we are to 12th. So,
shows you where
we need to know. But
we blame Sim for that.
Yeah, my fault. In Super Chat here, I'd like to talk about, which I think it goes into reaction. Andrew Dean says, send Tell back to Munich. What a selfish player. Johnson wanted the hat-trick. Romero already checked out. He and the captain should back Brennan Johnson. Son would do. Now, tell me about what your thoughts are on the little argument they had with the penalty, and was Tell right to demand it, or should he have given it to Brennan for the hat-trick?
This is one of them old age arguments. It depends who the penalty taker is. Whoever the penalty taker is meant to be, because they would have known this beforehand. Even if Brennan Johnson's on a hat-trick, you still have to let the penalty taker take it. And with Tell right now, a lot of people are looking at going, he hasn't got the confidence. He needs goals.
You could argue he probably needed the goal more than Brennan, because Brennan already had 2 and he's our top goal scorer. So, but I can understand Brennan wanting the hat-trick.
Frustration of the hat-trick, but it doesn't say...
Would that have been his first Premier League hat-trick, I'm guessing, if he would have scored that? Definitely for us. But in general, I don't think he ever scored a hat-trick for Forest.
I think he scored one for Forest.
He scored a hat-trick?
I'm pretty sure he did. Something tells me Everton away or something stupid like that. I don't know why I'm thinking of Everton away like his first. There was a performance that Nottingham Forest did have, and I don't remember him, because he didn't score many, but I might be wrong.
I don't remember Brendan ever scoring a Premier League hat-trick.
I know he scored a brace a couple of times, but
Yeah, he scored a brace not so long ago for us.
but
But
there's going to be plenty of chances for Brendan Johnson. Look, for me, Brendan Johnson's going to have more chances to score a hat-trick than today. And does he really want a hat-trick against his first one to be against a relegated Southampton?
yeah,
It doesn't prove anything. So he's got 2 goals. Go grab the confidence. And next week he's got Wolves. He'll get, go and score goals, score a few against Wolves next week, and all is forgotten.
but also when you look at Tell's point of view, first of all, if he's the designated penalty taker, I don't know if he is, but if he is, and he needs his first Premier League goal, I can understand his need to kind of demand that penalty as well, and he needs to get off the mark. He's obviously trying to see if he wants to stay here and all these different things. So I thought he took it confidently as well.
But let's put the bit on their foot. Say Tell's not on the pitch and it's Solanke who needs the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Are people going to get mad because Solanke needs the goal and he takes it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference. Forget that it's Tell. Just look at it as in if Solanke was on the pitch, you're more likely to give it to Solanke, because if it gives him the confidence going forward to score more goals, it's more better for the team that he does take the penalty. And I think the same is with Tell. It will give us, hopefully, he'll see that and go, yeah, I've got my goal. Give him the confidence. He knows where the back of the net is. We could end up seeing, if Thursday Tell goes and scores 2, for talking purposes, it's done us the world of good.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson at the moment, he can score goals. Yes, I get it's his first. It could have been his first Premier League hat-trick, but look, I'd rather whoever's going to take rank over it. And Romero was on the pitch. He should have known.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not mad at it. But if for me, if it was in my situation, I probably would have let Brendan Johnson take it. But that's because I'm a nice guy.
Do you reckon if Son was on the pitch, who's obviously our designated taker, he would have given it to Brennan?
Now that's a very, very good question, because Son needs a goal.
Everyone needs a bloody goal on this team.
That's the problem. Everyone needs a goal. We're not in a situation where a few weeks back you probably would have given it to Brennan.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a situation now, a lot of players need goals. Look, I'm not mad at it. Brennan shouldn't be mad at it.
I reckon Son would have given it to him. I reckon
Sonny would have given it
probably
to him.
would have given it to
but
him.
I reckon that would have been at the detriment to the team, because you've got to look at the bigger picture and go, who needs the confidence? Who needs the confidence going forward? And that's the bit where I'd go, you know what? If Tell now goes on a scoring run because he took a penalty today, who knows? If he didn't, then it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to...
And to be fair to Tell, he did stick it away confidently. You can see with the run-up, he's got composure there, and he did stick it away quite nicely
and the fact
to
that
make it 3-1.
Ramsdale got a hand to it as well, and it still went in, that will give him the world of confidence as well.
Talking about... back on Brennan, though, 2 goals today, and now 16 goals for the season, 11 in the Premier League for Brennan. Gets a lot of stick, but also scores a lot of goals, and he's done that again today.
And won the penalty.
Won the penalty. So credit to him, to Brennan, for always kind of, in these kind of games especially, he is effective in the final third. He's very good finisher in the box, and he does kind of take his opportunities and very good at getting in the right positions, isn't he? And as much as people want to criticise him, he is on 16 goals in all competitions. That is nothing to be sniffed at.
But the worst thing is, if you look, let's take that second half.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from winning the penalty, he didn't do anything. and then this is where a lot of Spurs fans get frustrated with him, because, I'm talking about Solanke earlier, but Johnson barely, every time he got the ball, it was given away, and you're like, oh, come on. However, you are spot on when it comes to his finishing and being in those positions. Goals win games. And that's exactly what's happened today. His goals have won the game, and we've ended up getting over that line. And even though it was kind of in that second half, we're going, please, those 2 goals in the first half have carried us and have been able to help us in that second half. And you know what? Fair play to Brendan Johnson. He will score against the rubbish teams. He won't put in performances against the top sides, but when we need the goals, he is there. He is there for us.
He's the first Tottenham player this season to reach double figures in the Premier League, which is quite incredible, considering that we are still currently, if I look at the Premier League table, I think we have scored 58 goals, which is still second to Liverpool, who are way out in front in 72. But no one apart from Liverpool has scored
today. We were
Man City,
yeah. So
who obviously play now.
Yeah.
They're one goal
what
behind.
What a mad stat that is.
We are second and we also got now a plus 13 goal difference in 13th. But it's amazing that Johnson's the first player to hit double figures, considering we're the second highest scorers in the league, which is incredible.
It's typical what Andrew's football's about, though, isn't it? It's spreading the goals. But the problem is that
Which is, to be fair, needs to happen without Kane. We need to spread the goals around.
And that's it's not. And to be honest, it's not. Us going forward has not always been the best. But it's our defence that's always been the issue, and it's how many we concede and how many chances we give up. Because that's the bit we just quickly need to go on to. Is even though we've had a total of 13 shots today, we've had 12 against the worst team in the Premier League. Southampton probably haven't had 12 shots in the last 12 games.
Yeah.
So, and you're kind of looking at.
Well, to be fair, they actually do create chances, Southampton. They always have.
But it shouldn't be allowed. It should not be allowed. There is no. If you want to be a top Premier League side, you should not be allowing Southampton to have that many chances against you. And that's probably been our biggest problem this year, is that we allow too many teams to have chances, which is why they're scoring goals.
Yeah. In terms of just quickly looking ahead to the Frankfurt game, off the back of these two performances since the international break, how are you feeling with that game coming up?
I've never been confident about these games anyway. I wasn't even confident in the last round. But look, I can't see what we're going to do. I don't think they're going to turn up. I think we're all going to be disappointed. I think we're just waiting for the end. For me, we have to go out and beat Frankfurt at least 3 or 4. Because I don't think in that second leg, I don't think we're going to be able to cope away from home. I think we're going to flatter to deceive, as we always have done. But I'm not going to sit and say we can't go through. We can win it. We can, we have the team. But I just need that first 45 minutes to be for 90 minutes where they get the job done. I didn't see nothing fantastic.
I'm hoping they're conserving energy.
Yeah, I've seen enough to go. You can go out there and win the game, but you've got to do.
The reality is, for me, we have to just play at such a higher level than we have done the last two games to take the game to Frankfurt. Now, I've seen Frankfurt, they lost their most recent game 2-0 away at Bremen. So maybe they're going into this game a bit lower in confidence, or maybe they had one eye on the Thursday game.
Quite a few players
maybe
I
didn't see.
From what I saw the lineup, they rested quite a few.
Which is interesting considering we didn't and they did. Hoping they didn't come into that game on Thursday for pressure. Obviously, that is the game that matters. It's massive Thursday in terms of our season and what we want to do. And look, I obviously wanted a performance today where we just easily come through it and it's a lot more comfortable than it was, and we really take Southampton to the sword, and that gives me confidence that we're really going to create lots of chances against Frankfurt, and it's going to be hard to deal with. Wasn't that today, and it didn't really give me too much confidence going to Thursday that we're going to flick a switch and turn it on. But I do know about what we do know about this team is they can turn it on, and maybe on Thursday, knowing the importance of the game, they're going to put a lot more energy into it. Everything's going to be a much more with much more intensity. The intensity was off it today. Was a big drop off.
Oh, it was massive drop off.
What I mean? We weren't really intense. We were kind of standoffish, especially in the second half. There was no intensity whatsoever. But I can't imagine that's going to be like that on Thursday. But
you say that.
Look, but whether it'll be enough to kind of whether just raising the intensity is enough to overcome a very good side like Frankfurt. We also need to have the patterns of play there. We need to be creating chances, and we need to be putting them under a lot more pressure, and we need to be keeping them out. And today, what I saw today it didn't give me confidence that Thursday we're going to put in this performance that's going to give us the advantage we need going to that second leg.
I'm more just hoping that that we get these last set of games now repeat our first set of games under Ranch, where we go through the first 10 games unbeaten. That's what I'm looking for, performances like that. Look, for me, Thursday, I want to sit there and say we can do it. I really do. But you just don't know. This team's so unpredictable. They're just we watch them, and like you guys do the analysis each week, like we all do. And you just don't know what Tottenham you're going to get. And that's the biggest problem for us right now, because we could say everything we think needs to happen on Thursday, and Spurs will do the opposite. And that's been the key to this season. But look, my heart says we can win it. My head is going, please just turn up. Just please give me a performance, do something. But I don't know. I don't know where we're at the moment. Today was I think that second half was a bit of a. I think I'd rather we done it the other way round. where we had a flat first half and then kind of went second half. We had the momentum because you're going, oh, we could take that momentum into Thursday. But yeah, where do we go from here, Sim? Please.
Let's just hope that we put in a lot better performance on Thursday and kind of show up, because today, look, especially for the first half, it wasn't like the worst thing I've ever seen. Second half was close to the bloody worst thing I've ever seen. But first half was like, okay, it was like a standard, like comfortable kind of game.
Yeah.
But that's kind of not good enough right now for where we're at and where Ange is at in terms of people's belief in him. As I say, if this was a different scenario, like we were near the top of the league, challenging for Europe, and we had this big Europa League title, I think people would forgive today's performance.
Of course they would.
But because of where we are in the league and how the season has gone, and the fact that we haven't played well for so long, like we need to start seeing good performances at some point. And if you can't even do that at Southampton at home, like that's obviously not great to see, and that's a massive red flag. And this is something that's going to go against Ange in his perception, rather than people looking at the result and saying, "Oh, we got the job done." We're not good enough at the moment to just get the job done.
Because anyone who didn't watch the game today will be looking at 3-1 going, "What the hell are we talking about?" But actually, when you
look at that second
half and you go, well, if we'd have carried on that momentum from the first half, I reckon it could have been 3-4-5. That is how it was going. But it's not even like Southampton put any more pressure on us than they did in the first half. They literally just had the ball and was like, Tottenham, what are you doing? And they just literally went with the flow. And if they had better players, again, I think we'd have been in trouble today.
All right, well, that is our instant match reaction. It's now your chance to have your say. The link right now is pinned to the chat, and it's also in the community section. If you want to come, call in and have your say on everything that happened in today's game. Were you encouraged by the performance? Were you frustrated by the performance? What does it mean coming in to Thursday's game against Frankfurt? Was Tell right to take that penalty away from Brennan Johnson? All these things you can come on and discuss, or whatever you want to talk about. Call in. It's now your chance to have your say. Link is currently pinned to the chat if you want to come on and talk about whatever you want to when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur and the current state of Spurs. Let me see some comments here. At the moment, Sim, you're forgetting some of these players are still recovering from injury. Yes, performance could have been better, says Mighty Huff. Look, it's a fair point, and I do agree with that. A lot of these players do need minutes in their legs, and they are all recovering from injury. But look, the reality is we're playing Southampton, man. We're playing Southampton. This is potentially the worst team in Premier League history.
And we struggled.
We struggled, especially that second half. It was a massive struggle.
I remember when, I take you back, when Spurs played Derby and they were struggling, and we went to Pride Park and we completely took them to pieces.
Mm-hmm. And we were a shit team.
And we were crap.
Yeah.
So when I see the difference in levels of performances and I look at that and I go, oh my God, this is not great. This is not great at all. But it could be that, it's just that this story and this chapter's is coming to it's like a bit of divorce, isn't it? Where you're just staying together for the kids for now because they're going through some moments that you just need to be together, and then once the kids have moved out, that's it, we're done. And that's what it feels like with Ange at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we need to show on Thursday that we're up for this fight in the Europa League. That's what we need to show. And today, in the grand scheme of things, won't mean much. But in the context of the season we've had and the game coming up, it's really not fantastic. And I understand that. Look, I do agree. This team needs cohesion. This team needs players to get up to speed from injury-wise. Just because the players are coming back doesn't mean they're going to be instantly fully fit. And also, it's kind of like the team, because they've been disbanded basically for so long.
Yeah. It's
like they need to kind of relearn how to play with each other again. That needs time on the pitch, and it's not going to click straight away. I kind of get that. But this is bloody Southampton.
It was a training game today.
But that second half was just, we couldn't even get in their half. And maybe it was maybe they took their foot off the gas and they wanted to just kind of see out the game without many injuries and exert too much energy. But it just wasn't encouraging when you want something to believe.
Look, Tamworth put up a better showing than that. And Southampton sat there and we were bad against Tamworth as well. So, yeah, if it was anyone else, I'd give or take and go, all right, that makes more sense. But Yeah, Southampton were poor in that. They were so poor in that first half.
They were. They've been really poor all season.
And to be honest, they were poor in the second. It's just that we literally let them have the ball, and that's the big difference today. But yeah, we'll see.
Is anyone in the back end yet? No. Well, if you want to come on, there's currently.
You'll be the first on as well.
You'll be the first on if you come on, and the link is currently pinned to the chat.
You don't have to wait.
Don't have to wait. Come and give your opinion. Link is also in the community section if you want to come on and have your say. But anything Tottenham today, anything you want to have thoughts about. Let me see what's Andrew Dean saying. He said, I've lost it. He said something. You mentioned me. I can't.
Everybody's mentioning you today, Sim.
Yeah, of course they are. Johnson robbed Tell, says W2F. The worst team in PL history made us look average in that second half, says Spurfect. It's hard to disagree. We were worse than average in that second half. We were really, really poor. Really poor. Andrew Dean here is Sim. Please don't make any more excuses for Ange and this bloke of players.
Oh, you haven't made any excuses today.
A bloke of players. What's a bloke of players? A block of players?
Yeah, probably. But yeah. No, you haven't made any excuses today. I was expecting at least one. You know, you would probably said a win's a win today. If
a win is a win. It's a 3 points. A win is a win.
But you've been critical. You've been actually quite spot on with a lot of things now that you're sitting on the other side of the fence.
Chimbwenza Ilhunwo. Johnson has 10 assists last season. The low-driven cross is his speciality. Solanke was awful positioning. He never really got his crosses in, did he, Johnson? That was the main thing. I'm looking at watching Man United. They're on goal here. They've gone down. Or free kick on the edge of the box.
I do agree on the Solanke's awful in position because there was a couple of times where the players tried to play it into his feet and he wasn't just standing up. He was more left, right, and just didn't get. He really disappointed me today. Like I can't. I just didn't get it. I don't get why he was so bad.
We've got a members chat for Victor Matiansen. Great result, one great half or one half mediocre, same as always. Why can't we be good for 90 minutes?
Have we ever been good for 90 minutes under Angelo?
Yeah, it's always one good, one bad. Well, to be fair, look, I'm not saying we're on their level, but Liverpool seem to do some similar, don't they? First half they're poor, and then second half they really come into it. It seems to be a common theme. So I don't think we're the only team struggling with that. But yeah, we can't seem to be good for 90 minutes. CCM28, getting out-efforted at home by bottom half of the table and relying on our skill gap to win is embarrassing. Players have no heart, manager has no brain. I mean...
there's a lot to take in that statement, but you look at it and probably go, it's... But I don't think Southampton put in as much effort.
They were just waiting to be beaten.
Yeah, they were waiting to be beaten, and I think they couldn't believe their luck for how much of the ball we gave them in that second half. That's the only thing I'd say, and I think it was more down to we just dropped in quality.
Let me see how this free kick is going to end up. Bruno's got on the right the edge of the box here, and it's into the wall. And we see if I'm waiting on any quotes from Ange.
But yeah, it's dead.
Nothing.
See
what he's got to say for himself.
It's a really weird thing because I'm gonna sit there and say this. If both halves were the other way round, I don't think we'll be reacting as bad as we are now.
As I say, it's all about the context of the season, and I'm very big on context, as people know. And I said in a different context, I wouldn't really care about today's result. Just we get the job done, whatever. We got the win, but in how this season has gone, people at some point are expecting a good performance. You know what I mean? And if we you can't even muster it against Southampton leading into a big European game. The fact we haven't really seen good performances for a while. Then it's going to get people saying, when are we going to see these good performances? Now we're just going to suddenly turn it on for a European game. Now the context of that is we did play quite well when we played RZ in the second leg not so long ago. So in that game we did kind of turn it on, and we were able to get up for that game, and we ended up winning 3-1 and got through. So if you could say there's evidence there that we could turn it on for a European game, but considering the performance and the cupping of the year on Thursday from Ange against his own fans, coming into the game today, and you just want it to be, you wanted to kind of swat away what are the easiest, the worst team potentially in Premier League history, and you want it to be comfortable, and especially that second look. To be fair, apart from the last few minutes, I wouldn't say it was uncomfortable because we never really looked like dropping points.
No. The goal, when that
goal went in,
it suddenly
all of a sudden you're like, how the hell did we get here? And we just let this game drift, and that should never have happened really in that second half. That second half performance, we barely laid a glove on Southampton. So that's the context, which is why a lot of people aren't going to be kind of disgruntled. Spurs will Solanke and Ritchie for Kane. LOL. Both are trash. Championship level strikers. They're not championship level strikers. Come on. Odebear is horrible player. Much overhyped by naive Spurs fans. Guys, if you want to come in and call in and have your say on all things Spurs, the link is currently pinned to the chat of this stream. So come on and have your say. And let us know what your thoughts are on Tottenham and what happened today, or anything. The protest as well. Let's talk about the protest, because many hundreds of people turned up for the ENIC out protest today, hosted by Change for Spurs. So big up to everyone who attended that protest, who are demanding change. I think the performance today would have kind of backed up a lot of people's opinions. Ange has had more comments to say on VAR, it looks like. And he said, I just can't believe they brought it in for a wait of around 5 minutes for something, in my view, that was inconclusive. That is what Ange had to say on VAR.
You know what? Let's wait until next week on that. I want to see if the semi-automated offside's clear, because, I think that was down to the way our referees are using it, because we said, just draw the bloody lines. There was 2 pictures, draw the lines. What took them so long?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what took him so long when he's got 2 players to look at.
Yeah, I didn't understand what took him so... And this is the problem that I'm having with... not with VAR itself, because I think VAR's doing the job it's supposed to. It's our referees. I don't think they don't get the technology. They need some training. I think that's what needs to happen right now. There needs to be some training. We need to upskill them on certain things, because this is a massive league, and this is, and there's a lot of scrutiny on it, especially from our media.
Giddy Hap says, Sim, are you Ange in now? You look very happy. Do I?
If we won.
It's the white shirt. I'm glowing. 3 points. I mean, I don't know if you've heard anything I've said. I've been pretty critical of
today's
performance.
I think people don't understand it.
Sun's out. 3 points. We've leapfrogged Man United.
When the sun's out in the UK, we're all happy.
We're 13th, people.
We could have lost 4-0 today.
Time to celebrate. 13th in the league. Come on, people. Let's get David on. He's waiting in the background. David, thanks for joining the show. How are you doing? Can you hear us? I can't hear him. Is he muted? You can't hear him.
Can you hear?
I can hear you now.
Can hear you.
Hi, David. Where are you calling from? Australia?
Sydney.
Sydney, yeah. I thought I heard an accent there. Thanks for calling in, mate. Tell me what you want to discuss today, David.
Interesting game. I guess, obviously as an Australian, I've been following Ange for quite a few years. There's a bit of a delay here. Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right.
I got a bit frustrated with Ange when he was the national team coach, actually, because he played the same way all the time, which I found a bit frustrating. But at the end of the day, he's won everywhere he goes eventually, and he talks about it a little bit himself. You don't get to his level unless you've got some idea what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I kind of, it's hard with the fans because I
Oh,
get the
he's just cut
frustration of
out.
not winning, and it's been a really poor season.
Sorry, David, but bear with you. Just your
But by
audio
the
just
same
cut
token,
out.
I kind of see, the Southampton
I think it's our
fans
end.
tonight.
Oh, he can't hear us. Can he hear us?
Hey, we back?
Give us a sec.
You can hear us now, yeah, because it's just stopped.
We back?
1 second, David. Is it? What's going on?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Oh, he's gone out now.
Oh, I really wanted to hear what he wanted to
Yeah,
say
I
there, because he
was
started to go into it. I was like, oh.
I think he's gonna let. I think he's left. He's gonna rejoin.
Yeah. But what was he talking about? That he's won everywhere he goes, and eventually he doesn't get to this level without knowing what he's doing.
Can you put us back on the?
The only thing I'd say to that is that in certain positions, you can go, so you know what you're doing to a certain level, but when you get to the top level and you have to perform every week at the top level, the pressure of doing that can sometimes get to some people, no matter if you know what you're doing or not. And you have to have the certain character and the certain characteristics to do that. It's in any job, any field, any job. And that's the bit where I think Andrew's struggling with it, because if you're not adaptable when you start moving up the ladders, because it's like a championship manager or a League One manager. Eventually, they will get to the top, but can they cope with that pressure of being a Premier League manager? And that's the biggest issue when you're dealing with big personalities, bigger players, and things like that. And I think right now, Andrew's struggling.
Different managers, different tactics, which is something I was concerned about when he first joined. I said that it's a different level of competition. Just because something worked in Japan or Australia doesn't mean it'll work here, which is true, but I was also willing to give him that kind of grace to kind of. I was willing to give him that time to kind of figure it out. And to be fair, the first season, whatever people say, it was 10 games. Look, the first season we finished 5th. We lost Harry Kane. We completely switched up the way we were playing. And I did think that first season in general was pretty good. I know there were some black marks, how we ended it, and we had that period just after the first 10 games where we lost 4 in a row, and after we had those injuries and stuff. But that first season showed, I think he could perform this level, but this season has gone very, very wrong for a number of reasons. I don't think it's completely down to him, but I also think a part of it is definitely down to him for sure.
But what David said, the first thing he started with was when he was the Australian manager, he used to play the exact same way, and they used to get frustrated with him as well. So it'd be very interesting to see why.
They also won the Asia Cup, didn't they?
Yeah. So it'd be interesting, but when they probably came,
people don't give enough credit for that. In terms of when they say, "Oh, he's only done it in the Australian League or Japan League or Scottish League," which is obviously domestically that's true. But he's won Australia's only ever major trophy ever. So if that was so easy, why has no one else done it? If it was so easy to win a tournament with Australia,
maybe they've never picked a decent coach to go and do it. Maybe if they went,
but then you have to be a decent coach to do it. You know what I mean?
But it depends, innit? Because you have to look at it and go, how many top quality coaches has Australia had as a national team? Have they had that many? Don't get me wrong, Andrew's done well to a certain point, but if you went and put, say, I'm just throwing this name out there, an Areola in charge of Australia, could he go and do it?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Well, no one has ever done it.
No one's ever done it. So it'd be a case of...
He's the only one who's done it. You know what I mean? Ever. Their only ever international tournament.
Yeah.
So they can't be taken for granted.
It's an interesting one because none of their managers have ever gone and done it, but David was frustrated as well with the way Ange played. So it's quite... But he has done it.
Ozzy says, Di Matteo won the Champions League. Do you want him? I'm sorry, I don't know. I mean, it's that's completely different. Di Matteo completely fluked that.
Tuchel's won the Champions League for them as well.
Yeah, so but Tuchel's great.
Yeah.
Tuchel's a great manager.
So,
Di Matteo, if you watch that Champions League run, it was a complete fluke. I don't know if Ange was the same, but Di Matteo's gone on to not do anything. And Ange has won every trophy he's ever has been. Plus, he won that. So, and I don't think it was a complete fluke that he won the Asia Cup. Let's get David back on.
Because I was really interested to hear. Yeah.
Hey, David. We can't hear him again.
Can you guys hear?
We can hear you.
Hey guys.
So what were you saying about Ange? Go on.
I, yeah. So, oh yeah, look, I get frustrated with him as well. He does. I guess the things. Look, it's been a really bad season, and um, you know, I, I've seen some of the things, but he does win. He's won everywhere he's gone. You guys were just talking about the only time we won the Asian
Mm.
League, but when everywhere he's gone, he's had to deal with um, evenness of salaries. So the A League in Australia, that's salary capped.
Hmm.
Japan, he came in, he took a middle team at the time, and the second season he won there. I think it was the second season. So he's really good at competing. If you give bunch of different managers the same team, he's going to do better with that team overall.
Hmm.
It might take him a couple of years, but that's what he's done many times. He's won everything. And there's a lot of managers in England who are good managers, but they haven't necessarily won stuff. And Ange's philosophy goes back to when he was a player. Um, he was under, was it Puskas? I think it was, a Hungarian,
Hmm.
and it was very much, he was told, he was a defender, and he was told by Puskas, look, no one's come to see you. Give the ball to the people who can play the ball. That's what people have come to see. And that's influenced his entire approach the whole time. So his fundamental philosophy is people come to get away from their lives. There is an entertainment factor to the whole thing, but he also wants to win. And his philosophy is, we're going to win by scoring more goals than you. People come to see the magic. They don't come to see dreary, boring football. And we're going to try and do it by winning that way as well. He doesn't believe in defensive in terms of parking the bus, because if you're 1-0 up, how many times have we seen 1-0 up and then it becomes 1-1 all? He'd rather go 1-0 up, let's go for 2-0 up rather than park the bus. And as soon as you're defending, you're never going to score another goal. So the only way it can end is either the 1-0 or 1-all.
Mm. Yeah, and today, looking at so how do you feel about him at the moment? Do you feel like Spurs have to go in a different direction with him, or do you think he could be given more time? How do you feel about his current position?
I'm probably around about where Sim is, where, I was nearly Ange out the other day. uh, it's tough. It's been, it's so hard when you're not seeing cohesion, you're not seeing all the things you want to see from him. It's just there's so much history of him succeeding ultimately. And the same thing happened with the Australian League, when he was playing the same way. He went to a back three at one stage, and every time we played anybody, they just jumped on top of us because they knew that we were going to try and play out from the back. And you'd think, it's just 1 out of 5, just kick the ball long so that they can't predict exactly what you're going to do. But then we won the Asian Cup. So he's been a manager for 30 years. I haven't been. I kind of got to go, well, you know more about than I do, and you seem to win. But yeah, it's frustrating.
David, do you think that Angelo does struggle when he ends up coming up against top quality coaches, people? Because you said there, when he's on a level playing field, he tends to do well and win things. But when he starts to come against people with bigger salaries, better coaches who've got more years in the game, do you think he struggles against those sort of managers, or do you think it's a case of he needs to learn and then we need to stick with him?
I think it's a new experience for him to some degree. I mean, he's been against very good managers before, but he's probably the best manager that's come out of Australia, which is why it's got to this point. You don't get to manage in Japan unless you're doing very well in Australia. Like Japan is not looking for overseas managers. You don't get to manage Celtic from Australia unless you've done something somewhere else and people are seeing something. You don't get to Tottenham unless you've done something somewhere. So he's certainly a top manager. And this whole idea that Ange doesn't know what he's doing, I think is complete rubbish. You may not agree with the way he's doing stuff, or you may not agree with the way he approaches things or whatever. You can disagree with him, but he knows what he's doing. He's making a decision, and he's going to try and win that way. But he's definitely a very knowledgeable guy about football. Yeah, he probably hasn't struck this level then. Like he hasn't struck a Pep before. Oh, he has played Pep before. He's played all these guys before. You know, even with in Japan, he played against Pep with a local team, and even Pep was impressed with him at the time. Pep says good things about everybody. I like Pep. He's funny. But yeah, you know, I also think there's a little bit of, you know, I'm Australian, so I think there's a little bit of snobbery about the Premier League as well, where this idea is like, well, we're the best, and therefore he can't possibly compete at this level. Maybe you're right. I don't know, but there's definitely an element of that comes in sometimes. But he's certainly proving he can't at the moment. I'm hoping he can prove the opposite.
In terms of today, David, tell me your thoughts in terms of how you're feeling ahead of the game against Frankfurt, considering how he performed today. What do you think led to the big drop-off in that second half? And just in terms of just today in general, what were your feelings on what happened today?
I thought we played pretty well in the first half. And actually, even in the last game, I was a bit surprised how negative people were against when we played against Chelsea. I mean, we lost. I mean, we haven't beaten Chelsea in 30 years, so you know, it's not that much of a surprise we lost to Chelsea at home. I thought we actually played all right on the whole. And you know, when we had all those injuries, the passing was just appalling for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. We were just losing the ball everywhere all the time. Against Chelsea, we were passing all right. You know, the passes were making it to their players. And today, again, the passing was fairly good in the first half. I thought the second half was exactly what the fans have been asking for, which is Ange parking the bus a bit. You know, he can't win. He parks the bus and everyone complains he's parked the bus. I thought they were saving energy. I thought it was very deliberate. They came back on the second half. There was no energy. You know, so I'm not concerned about it. It seemed like they were saving energy, saving the players a little bit. I would have liked him to take some of the, you know, Solanke off, a few of the other players who'd played, even Bergvall. I thought they played a bit too much. I would have liked them rested for Thursday. But at least he rested Van der Ven, which I liked. So yeah, I'm not too concerned, but I probably would have preferred the Germany game was before the Tottenham game, because I'd rather we were trying to get a score rather than trying to, you know, get a 1-0 in Tottenham and then have to struggle in Germany. So, but yeah, we don't choose that.
In terms of the penalty at the end, do you think Tell was right to demand it of Johnson, or should he have given it to Johnson for the hat trick?
I guess I like that Tell demanded it to some degree, because it means he's trying to do something. We haven't seen him doing too much yet, so I mean, there's no point in being there unless we can get something out of him. So I'd rather, you know, it's always hard when you've got two players competing, but I'm okay with it. I'm glad Tell scored it. Put it that way.
We all are.
Yeah, for sure, and it was a good confident penalty. But look, David, appreciate you calling in, mate. Appreciate the time difference from Sydney to now. So was it nearly 5 in the morning there, is it? You probably need to get some sleep. I don't know. Is it? Oh,
it's 1:30 or coming up to 2 a.m.
Okay, 2 a.m. But appreciate you staying up late and giving up your time and calling in. And please call in again. We'll see you very soon.
Good to chat, guys. Hopefully after the next game, we're all smiling still.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Cheers. Thanks a lot, David. Some quotes from Ange. First of all, let me just say the link is in the chat if you want to come on and join the show and give your opinion on Spurs and let us know what your thoughts are on the current situation. Ange, on the performance today, I was really happy with the first half. First half, we were really disciplined and well organised. We looked threatening every time we went forward. Second half, not too much. We were too passive, sloppy with the ball, and the subs I made didn't make the impact I wanted to. So Ange very critical of that second half performance. No real surprise there that he wasn't too happy. I don't think many people would too happy on that second half performance. Let me see if there's any quotes from a press conference coming out. You're probably sitting down now. Let's see if there are any quotes. So, yeah, here's some quotes. Ange on the win. Okay, we said that. Ange on Maddison. In the first half, especially, all the players embraced attacking and defensive roles. I thought Maddison was really good with the ball, disciplined without it. On Brennan, he said, when Brennan plays, he's always a goal threat. He's always a goal threat. Even his assists are also important to us. On the first goal, it was a goal that we've done a number of times. I think in the first half, we had many of those moments. It was an excellent goal, team goal from start to finish. Andrew on Bergvall, he looked a bit leggy on Thursday night. I thought it was important to get that out of his system. He looked a lot better today and physically stronger. Do you agree with that? Do you think Bergvall looked a lot better today than Thursday?
I think, yeah, he probably did, but not because of he looked leggy. More to do with we just had more of the ball. We were able to keep it, which Bergvall was quite good. He's good at, you know, because he was trying to make that run between the lines where he'd get it in the midfield and he'd try and take it forward. When he tried to do that on Thursday, Odegaard was so far back away from him and Solanke was on the other side of the pitch, where today Brennan Johnson was more in the spaces where he needed him to be, and Solanke was there, even though he didn't play well himself. But yeah, no, it was. I like Bergvall anyway, so I haven't seen the last 2 games. I haven't seen anything wrong with his performance, and it was part of the reason why Ange got booed for taking him off. So it's a weird thing to kind of say, but I think he's trying to backtrack because of the cupping of the year.
Yeah, off the cupping of the year.
Yeah,
potentially. I don't know. I didn't really see that today from Bergvall. I thought he might have been even better on Thursday than he was today. But I don't think he was bad today.
I don't think he was bad today. I didn't think he was bad on Thursday.
I didn't think he was bad on Thursday. I thought he was our best player on Thursday. I thought he played well again today, but
it's just normal Bergvall stuff that he kind of, you know, where he does lose the ball and then he makes that reckless challenge. But apart from that, I feel, no, I didn't see much wrong with it.
See any comments? If you do want to come on, have your say, link is in the chat at the moment, is pinned to the chat. If you want to click the link, get on the Zoom call and call into the show.
I was having a look at why he was talking. So the Australian managers since Ange has been Bert van Marwijk, a Dutchman, Graham Arnold, and Tony Popovic.
Tony Popovic,
a
former Palace player.
He
scored that famous own goal, back heel own goal. He calls him Poppers.
Yeah. So in the Asia Cup, they got to the quarterfinal with Arnold. World Cup, they got to the last round of 16, and then the quarterfinal in 2023. Bart only had a couple of games at the World Cup, and then it was Ange for those long period of times. But yeah, he won the Asia Cup in 2015. I think quite a lot of people
career in the final.
Yeah, a lot of people said that career was probably at their lowest point when they won it. So someone in the chat said that, and I was like, really? But I wouldn't know too much about the time. So it'd be interesting.
At the end of the day, he's never no Australia have never won it before.
Which is quite because they usually get through the qualifying rounds quite easily.
I mean, it's a surprise they've never won before, but that's the fact, and he got them to win it. I mean, there's no arguing with that.
But apparently, they had a lot of Premier League players that year as well.
Bear Pig says we want Daigle.
Yeah, where is Daigle?
He's at the protest. He was at the protest. He didn't. Yeah, he's in London. Oh. He's in London.
He should be calling in though. Where's Jory?
Where's the Joracle?
Yeah.
I don't know where everyone is. David L. Even in rugby, recent years at the World Cup, you have bottled it, and we beat you, and got to 2 finals, unlike Australia.
That's quite funny. That's
Bobby K. We parked the bus against the worst team in the league instead of putting our foot down on their necks. Pathetic. Big clubs go and finish their opposition off. We gave them to have a lifeline in the second half.
We gave them a massive lifeline.
Yeah,
we were like
it's
saying,
true.
We don't want you to get relegated today. Come and play.
Brad says David and Sim should get a room together with Ange posters on the wall.
people not listen to you on Friday?
This is people just don't listen. It's fine. I'm used to it. Let me see if there's anything else from Ange. Oh, it looks like we've got someone calling in. Let's see. Tottenham have now relegated a team in the past 3 seasons.
Oh, interesting.
We've relegated Leeds, Burnley, and now Southampton.
Us next season if Ange stays?
No.
Hey, could we do a Leicester, finish 17th and then win the league the year after?
Maybe we can do a Leicester. All right, let's get Dependra on. Hi, mate. Thanks for calling in. What would you like to discuss today? Hi, mate. Thanks for calling.
Oh, can you hear us?
Am I audible, guys?
Yeah.
Hi. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Tell me what today Spurs did beat Southampton 3-1. What were your thoughts on the game today?
Yeah, the match we won not because we were good, but because Southampton were bad. So it didn't give me much confidence going to the match on Thursday against Eintracht Frankfurt. So yeah, it's not good time for us Tottenham fans. So that is it.
What in that second half? What do you think that it was a plan to kind of sit back and soak up the pressure and kind of conserve energy, or what do you think led to that second half performance?
Yeah, I think it was a planned decision from Hans Postecoglou, but still we gave them a lot of time on the ball. We had to be aggressive, even though we had subbed on our important players. We had to be aggressive, and it's not like we can defend for a whole 45 minutes. We gave them much respect than they deserve. We cannot be a great team that wants to win stuff by letting a relegated team the ball for much of the second half. So I was not happy with that decision. I can understand if that's for the last 15 minutes or 10 minutes managing the game. I can understand that, but for majority of the second half, I was not happy with that decision.
You said that you're not confident going into Thursday. What do you think needs to change for you to be able to be confident on Thursday? What does Ange need to change to get us over the line?
No, I'm not getting that feeling of that hunger, that eagerness to win. Like I have not seen that from the first 10 games that Ange managed. Even in the matches we have defeated good teams like United, we have defeated City 4-0. Even in those matches, yeah, we defeated them, but I have not got that feeling from the first 10 games that I got, that I was really connected with the team. The team was fighting, they were front foot, they were attacking for every ball. I've been missing that from the first 10 games that Hans Postecoglou has managed. And previously, even if it was Antonio Conte, I used to get the confidence that even if we are 2-0 down, we will put on a show and we will. There's a chance that we can make a comeback. But now, I don't get that confidence. I don't get that feeling that players are putting the effort that the fan deserve, and we need to get on the front foot more. We need to put on a pressure because we are a team that has quality. We are better than Frankfurt. We are better than Southampton. So we need to get on the front foot. We need to press them. We need to defeat them like a team that has quality. We cannot scrape a 1-0, 2-0 win. We need to dominate them and win them properly.
That's true, but do you feel like on Thursday there's a chance that we knowing the importance of the game, and considering last time we had a Europa League game at home against Arsenal, we did play quite well. So do you feel like maybe today was just a day we had to get through, and maybe Thursday we could turn it on?
Yeah. Because of that second leg match against AZ Alkmaar, that has given me a glimmer of hope. Let's hope that that Europa League form will continue on Thursday and we will batter them. At least 2-0 or 3-0 will be even better because going in Germany, they are passionate fans. I remember us defeating them. It was back in Champions League when we were in the Champions League last time, and they were still singing and they were passionate even though we had defeated them. So the atmosphere is going to be electric. So we need to make something happen in our stadium only. And you guys, I think, will be there in the stadium. I hope you guys make a great atmosphere and we will get a good victory.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Thursday is obviously what really matters this season. And I think in terms of Ange and himself and the where you stand in terms of his future, what do you think should happen to him at the moment? Do you think there should be immediate change? Do you think there is a chance he could be here next season?
I don't think he'll be here next season, but I'm also not sure who we are going to bring in because we don't have a lot of options. Even Ayola is contracted to Bournemouth, so maybe we have to pay some fees. Are we going to do that? I don't think so, especially with this board on. Um, I'm just focused on this season. I'm just focused on Europa League, winning Europa League, and I'm getting the feeling of that Champions League, the feeling that I got before the Champions League clash against Ajax. I'm getting the same feeling because I was nervous during that Champions League. Before that Champions League clash, because Ajax were high on form, and I'm getting the same feeling of nervousness right now because Frankfurt, they are doing quite well in Bundesliga as well, even though they lost the last match. But the excitement is there, and let's hope we are going to do better and we are going to win Europa League this season because it's been a lot. I've supported Tottenham since I was very young, and in Nepal we don't have a lot of Tottenham Hotspur supporters, but we have a small but very passionate fan following. I think fans all over the world deserve that trophy and give us that trophy, and let's see what will the future will unfold.
Okay. In terms of today, though, in any individuals you thought impressed you or did well?
Yeah, I think the Borgwell, he was good, and Johnson did what he had to do, and I'm fine with it. But without if we delete goals from Johnson, he does not offer much. But okay, he has given us goal. He is one of our top scorers, so I'm happy with that. But I think Borgwell, he is the top performer for me.
Were there any performances you saw today and you were like, I really hope they don't go into Thursday like that? Was there any players you're thinking they need to up their game now?
The player I'm hoping will up the game the most is Son Heung-min, our captain. He needs to step up and he needs to show that leadership ability. He stays on the wing, very near to the line, but I want him to be a bit direct, a bit in the middle zone. And if he gets opportunity, I want him to cut in and try to score, try to put a shot as much as possible, because that has been missing in his game from a long time. And we know if there's a zone near the D box area, if Son gets to strike the ball from that zone, that is 9 out of 10 goal. So I want Son Heung-min to do that, and I want him to step up.
Okay. Dipendra, thank you for calling in, mate. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Nepal.
Nepal, amazing. Thank you for calling in, mate. Appreciate it. Is this your first time calling in?
Yeah, this is my first time calling in.
Brilliant.
And thank you for accepting my invitation.
Please call in again. Appreciate your call, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, mate. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on. Thank you, Dipendra. And let's get KPV on. Come on, KPV. Come on, let's have it. Let's have it, Kyle.
Go on, talk to him,
I can't see
KPV.
you. I can't see you.
Well, we can see you, so go ahead. Go for it. What are you saying?
Oh, we're on a different version of this. Normally I see the big screen, eh? But
Yeah,
it's
it's Zoom now.
yeah, I can see you now. All right, let's have it. Like I'm gonna be honest. First off, yeah, I'm still fuming about Thursday. Let's be honest, because never a foul. Come on, even Ben knows it wasn't a foul, so forget that. Anyway, brilliant win today. I'll take. And Brennan Johnson wanted to take the penalty to score a hat trick, and he probably should have taken it. Matthias Tell scored his first goal. Obviously, it was in the FA Cup against Villa, so should have let Brennan take it. And I don't know how Bergveld was ruled out for offside. Like, I don't know, but not great. I couldn't care less. Brilliant win, and Ramsdale's been relegated for the 4th time of his career. So, yeah, good. Like, he was probably Southampton's best player. I think they're a better player, but yeah, Southampton now been relegated, and back to the Championship they go. And you said we've now relegated 3 teams: Burnley, Leeds, Leicester.
Yeah, we
And
have. We're the Premier League killers, KPV.
And let's hope, Sim, you're not going to lose to Ben the predict the Prem, because you didn't want Lucas to score against Leeds. If he didn't, then you would have won. But unfortunately, mate, Lucas Moura scored against Leeds. That gave Ben the win. But you still got time to pull it back, mate, because didn't you go for anyone to score the weekend? And
I said 3-1 Spurs. I said 3-1 Spurs today, KPV.
Yeah, but I'm on about Starman, I mean. Who did you
No,
go
I
for?
said I went for Solanke.
Oh, bastard, man. And you knew Haaland was out, mate. Why did you go for Haaland in midweek, fella? Come on, you knew he was out.
I forgot.
Man, but,
Kyle, are we gonna win on Thursday?
of course, man. Like, yeah. And I went to that Frankfurt game a few seasons ago. I did. We won 3-2. Son scored a banger, if you remember rightly. We beat them 3-2. Kane scored and missed a penalty. So, yeah, he should have scored it, but it must have went to his house. The ball, but we ain't got no Kane. But, yeah, we fully focus on Thursday, and then the next few games are going to be tough. But, like, yeah, so bring on Thursday, and voila. That's all I can say. But, yeah.
Who's man of the match today, Carl?
You know the answer to that. It was Brennan Johnson. BJ, mate. BJ. BJ, mate. And I want to wish a happy belated birthday to Teddy Sheringham. He's 59 years old. And it's my carer's birthday Tuesday. Ben Sims. He's a Man United fan. So
Ben Sims. What a name. What a name.
SYMES. SYMES. That's his name. He's on Xbox. I'm probably going to play him later. And guess where I'm going the week after, mate?
Where?
I'm going for a tour around Old Trafford.
Nice. Why
Yeah,
Old
man.
Trafford?
Yeah, well, cold Old Trafford, and yeah, that's all I can say. But anyway, whoever's coming on next, I'm not going to stay too long because I'm just watching the 2 bad Manchester clubs. I couldn't care less. But anyway, brilliant win. Well on Thursday, and I say 3-0 Tottenham. I want a clean sheet because, yeah, I don't want to concede. And yeah, Frankfurt, they are tough, but we already beat them before under Conte, and we didn't win in Germany, so I would have preferred. But yeah, bring on Thursday and the last remaining games. But yeah, book your tickets for Bilbao, people, because I know Barry's already booked his tickets.
Come on. The belief of KPV is there. Look, Carl, good to see you as always, mate.
And as always, Levy out, everyone in. La Bosch.
La Bosch. Did we have one more guy there in the background? Oh, he went. All right. I think we're going to end it there then. Angie's press conference will be with you shortly, as soon as it's sent to us. And look, 3 points today, Marlon.
Win's a win.
A win's a win. We got there. Do you want to let people know? Go subscribe to Spurs Kings TV. Link is in the title of the video. Tell people what they need to know about what's coming on Spurs Kings TV.
So we have a Premier League show tomorrow. We talk about VAR stuff if you're interested in that. But then we go through the tactics of what happened today with Ange and then how we can beat Frankfurt on Tuesday with Ash. It's Ash that people want to come and see. And then Wednesday, if you're a rival fan, come over. It's probably the funniest show, underrated show on YouTube. It's so funny that they literally get each other all the time. So we have other shows. And then we have other content as well that comes out during the week. So we have Young Harry as well that produces a video on one of the players today that we'll pick and talk about their performances. So, but yeah, hit us up, Spurs Kings TV. We always have content, different content as well. And then make sure you're still hitting the like, subscribe, comment to Ben and Sim as well, mate.
Big up to everyone. Big up to everyone in the chat who contributed to the show. I think, do we have one more super chat here? Yes, let me just bring that up before we leave. Andrew, it's not come up here. One sec. Let's bring it up. I'll just say it. Andrew Dean says, oh no, I think I said this one already. No, there's no new super chats. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, look, we got 3 points. Wasn't the best game. Let's hope for better on Thursday. We'll be back with you tomorrow with all the post-match live streams and everything. Ben will be back in the studio. We'll talk about the protest. We'll talk about what it means for Thursday. So big up to everyone who got involved in the stream. We'll see you all very, very soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.